Hi, I'm Piero Falci. I'm the program director of One Planet United, and I'm here with Rivera San from Pace Bene and Campaign on Violence. And we're talking about peace. And one of the themes that always comes up is the theme of the social conditions that breed violence. So Rivera, tell us a little bit about how do you see inequalities and poverty, and as this be fueling the violence in the world?
Well, I think first of all we can return to Gandhi, who said poverty is the worst form of violence.
Mm-hmm.
That poverty in our world is not actually generally solely the fault of the individual. Poverty is a condition that is created by societies of inequality and societies that have lost their compassion for one another and their sense of responsibility for their whole community. And so I think if we look at that, that's actually a form of violence in and of itself. That we feel so separate from one another that we can have individuals in our community or whole groups of people in our nation who are suffering from the effects of not having a place to live, having the pain of hunger in their belly, the not enough shelter and food and water and clothing and access to education or employment. That these are forms of violence. And you know, one of the most tragic parts of this to me in the United States is that it's not like we don't have the resources in this country to make sure everyone is taken care of. It's that we have chosen to use our resources in such a way that some people are extremely wealthy and other people are living on the streets. Now, if this was only adults that this affected, that would be one thing. But when we have a system of violence that allows poverty to affect millions of people in this country, we also have millions of children who live in poverty. Perfectly beautiful human beings who have done nothing to deserve the situation that they're in. They are not old enough to have failed at a job.
Mm-hmm.
They do not have addictions. All the usual excuses that we bring up to prop up our lack of compassion for other adults just simply don't apply to children. So we have child poverty and child homelessness in this country. And I think when we're looking at violence as a whole and the practice of non-violence as a whole, that if we have income, if we have resources, if we have political power, if we have social power, we need to be thinking about how we can put those resources in service of creating a world that works for all of us, a world where children are not growing up with the worst form of violence as a fact of their daily lives. And maybe our hearts can actually grow big enough to include all people in our community.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, and this is the message today.